after actually following what you said from the get-go, bro, it's been like fucking complete game changer. Now I see why you have such like a strong belief about not doing the flat fee shit. I can see why.
Well, I'm so adamant because I felt that pain, and people don't want to listen to it because they get some deals done, right? And they're like, yeah, that's great. You know what I mean? But it's just like when it at scale, the problem.
That's the part, dude. It's the at scale part. The flat fee can work if you know what you're doing. Granted, we had somebody in that role that we hired that knew how to have those conversations, that we handheld and was in the office with us every day. When we were doing the flat fee, that's how it was. If somebody's listening out there and they have zero experience, even if you're just doing a couple deals on the flat fee, it's a whole monster. The documents, the signing, the realtors, it's a mess. Now, this has gone so much smoother. You have somebody working on this with you that wants to accomplish the same goal on it.
Yes, they take the night calls, the weekend calls. They make sure paperwork comes back in a timely fashion. They can read between the lines. They can leverage their relationships with other professionals in the market. You can leverage their vendors. You know, there's so many upsides to it. And the type of person you would have to hire to replace the realtor, you may as well just get the realtor, because especially if you're in multiple markets, like people I see get away with it. They're either in their backyard or they have one or two markets, and they kind of corner those, and they themselves become somewhat of a quasi professional in those markets, right? They learn all the details. But when you're going nationwide, it's very difficult to make it work. And it's very difficult too, once you start getting above a certain amount of deals. I don't know what the threshold is, maybe 3 for some people, 5 for others. If you're an absolute maniac, you might be able to do 7 or 8 at a time, but to do 20, there's no way.
Impossible. Impossible, dude.
Killer, dude. Well, why don't you guys give me just like kind of like a little breakdown on how you got into Novations, what some of your early struggles were, what some big lessons you learned that kind of like flipped the script on everything. Love to just hear kind of your origin story.
Honestly, full transparency, I wasn't even in the investment game like a year ago. That's just what's super crazy about it. Learning what the fuck like even a wholesale deal was, and then it was not very long after that I ended up meeting you, and it was just like so foreign, and what the fuck is like a novation and all of that stuff. And like basically the simple way that I was told was like, hey, if there's financing involved, that's when a novation comes into play. That was like super cool. And like after watching more of your content of understanding how to be able to have those conversations and like how to just pitch it. I think that's like the big thing is like a lot of people don't understand how to pitch it. It's, bro, you're not the buyer. And like, that's the one like message, if I could say and preach about anything, is like letting the seller know you are not the buyer. You are the person that is able to get the property across the finish line and deliver the experience of a cash offer to you. And I think like, once I like really dialed in my script like that, bro, it was like game changing. It was like seeing like clearly for the very first time. Honestly, I think that's the best way to explain it. And like the conversation just goes so much smoother. You don't have to feel like, oh, like, can I say this, or feel like you got to hide shit from the seller. That was like one of my big, I guess, holdbacks with like the investment side, was like just kind of like feeling like slimy and shit. I like to be transparent because then I feel like I don't have to hide anything. Once again, it's super nice to just be able to be fully transparent, let the seller know, and tell them the experience that they're about to have too. And like also the fact that they came to us for a reason. They have the opportunity to go and hire a realtor, and we're able to give them the reassurance knowing that, hey, I can guarantee you this set amount of money, and we just have to work on these things and also be on the same page with like access and communication and all of that stuff.
That's awesome, dude. And you hit some really important points of understanding exactly what the value exchange is. What is it actually that they're looking for? And we get so stuck on money, price, everything like that, which obviously that's an important part of the equation. Mm-hmm. But for these people, right, the experience and the bandwidth usage is a big thing for them, for the ones that it's a fit for. The people that
Yeah.
truly are just looking for the most amount of money, they're going to list with an agent. You know what I mean? They're going to go the traditional route. And that's what 98% of people that sell their houses, or probably more, do. But for the people that are looking for a cash offer experience, but their house doesn't fit into the cash offer criteria, they're not willing to take 50 cents on the dollar. This is an awesome opportunity. And you do have a greater responsibility when you fully disclose everything, where you're right. You need to make sure they have a good experience. You need to make sure there's a real value exchange there. And the shortcut is just to lie and try to do it behind the scenes. But ultimately, it's not something we feel good about. It's not something sustainable. And if enough people do that for long enough, they're going to create new legislation and new rules that's going to outlaw this completely. I think that's killer. You definitely have, man, you said a year ago you didn't even know about wholesale or anything. And now tell me a little bit about you guys' deal flow. I heard you guys are just crushing it right now, getting multiple deals, multiple closings.
We started Buy Right formally in May of this year. About the same time we met you, was at the beginning of the year. Formally, our business partner is Justin, our other business partner. He's out of town right now, but so we were retail agents on his team. I've been in real estate for this is my 10th year now. I started cold calling for a dude as a database manager. I came up the Keller Williams way. This is how you talk to a database. This is how you do real estate the right way. Then like 2 years ago when I met Justin, I got introduced to wholesale and the investment side of it. And I didn't put a big focus on it. I just started to learn about it, started to get in some of the rooms and go to the events. And if you know the Phoenix market, Phoenix is like the most saturated. When people go to see a YouTuber, or they like buy a course or go to a class for a weekend or whatever, the first thing they see is Phoenix, Arizona. There is a shit ton of competition here, and it's like really slimy, notoriously. That was like what I always knew from the investment side. And I heard Novations for about a year and a half, and I was like, oh my God, I don't care. Whatever. I don't know why anybody would ever do that. That's so stupid. Real estate license, hello? Like, what? That's literally my thought. As the market shit out last year, as everybody knows, and we were doing a little bit more on the wholesale side. We wanted to try and do more, and we had connected with you connected with Justin. And once we understood what a novation was, what the process is, we just it changed our mindset and our outlook on it. And it made going into a new market virtually way different, super possible. It's not having to go and build your relationships and your dispo list right away. Still very important things that we do, but like having the novation, being able to go and get all the money on the open market and still deliver the cash offer experience to the seller, that is complete game changer. We were doing anywhere 1 to 3 deals a month consistently last year. This year, adding novations, we're consistently 10 to 15 a month in Q4 this year. We'll buy 45 units. We'll buy 45 houses. We're like end of the year is just like clear the board, and Dom's adding to it. That's kind of the dynamic. Dom's getting contract. That's Dom's department. Get the contract signed, deliver the experience, make sure they're on the same page. And my job is get them to the finish line, build the relationships with the realtors. We have an admin as well that helps behind the scenes, paperwork, check-ins, coordinating, stuff like that. But that has been, once we figured out that, it's just lead flow. Now we know we can execute. We have the process, and that's what we are missing.
Dude, that's killer. From 1 to 3 deals to 10 to 15 deals. And would you say, now that you've added in the mix of working with top performing agents, how has that streamlined your workflow? And what percentage of your workflow do you think now is outsourced because of that?
Dude, so this is so recent, so relevant. I'm literally looking at my board right now and have In the last week, we canceled 7 or 8, I think 8 flat fees. And I've got 2 left that I got to get realtors out to go walk through. But these were 8 that were not sold, that we weren't having any traction on. And now 2 of them are sold. The rest will be on the market at the end of this week. And we've already got feedback. And that was 8 deals, right? All at the same time. It was a lot, like, for the last couple of days, but now that it's done, oh my God, what a relief. I have a couple people that I can call and refer to that are managing and helping out and making sure the same thing that I want done gets done.
Because with 9 deals on the flat fee, if those were getting traction and you're getting calls on all those deals,
dude, nightmare. Nightmare.
It's crazy. And I remember too, you guys came over and visited. We were chopping it up at the crib and everything. And I got on my soapbox and I was preaching the good word, how I felt about flat fee and everything. And
that's
like,
what did it, bro.
Honestly, we were driving home that night and we were just like,
what the fuck are we doing?
And it just, I think the examples that you gave us too, which was, you gave 2 that like really hit home for me. And one was, what happens if anything possibly happens to your dispo guy? What if he goes out and parties and he just doesn't answer the phone one day? Or like, what if he wants to go on vacation? Or like, what if he just gets up and leaves? That's all of your deal flow right there. And it's relying off this one resource that we have. And if that resource isn't working properly, then like, we don't have any money coming in. And then the other thing was like, when you position it also to the point of where the realtor is just as equally incentivized to get the deal sold for you as like you are. Mm-hmm. And when you put the perspective in our hands of, you guys are not meant to go and fucking sell the deals. You guys are meant to go and get more contracts and have the realtor sell the deals, because that's why you're called the Rainmaker. That's why you are the investor per se. And like that clicked with me, because my highest value is not going out there and calling these cash buyers and calling these other realtors to see and like all of that stuff. Even when we had somebody in place for that, it's super dope to see that like it can work. But I think it's also, how long do you want to be in the hustle mentality? Efficiency. Greg preaches this. Don't fish with a pole, fish with a net. And that's the way of fishing with a net, is being like the Rainmaker and just bringing in more business. Because sooner or later, you're going to get to the point to where deals are just knocking over and they're closing. And then that's when the money starts to follow the activity.
And you can deploy a high level person to be the manager of all the realtors. Instead of them having 15 deals, they have 15 people reporting back to them. They're doing the bulk of the actual work, but you're making the high level decisions. You're taking in their input, and then you're filtering it through your own filter, right? And then making the final decision. It's much more scalable, and you can do much more simultaneous deals without redlining your bandwidth. Because let's face it, man, anybody that's ever been a realtor or been in the industry, and they take the late calls, they take the weekend stuff, they have to do complicated paperwork. In different markets, there's different laws and rules and regulations.
Bro,
they have
there's
good insight.
8 contracts in Ohio. What the fuck? There's so many.
It's wild. And then there's all little local nuances too that you may not know, but someone that's been living there their whole life or been selling houses there for years, they understand the dynamics and they can advise you much better, because a lot of things aren't intuitive. You know what I mean? This is a complicated business with a lot of moving parts. It saved my ass on quite a few deals where I'm like, I am so glad I had this realtor in my corner for this, because my instinct was to do the exact opposite of what they advised me. But once I had all the information, I saw that they were clearly right. And then once the situation unfolded, it reaffirmed it. And then we're wholesalers, man. We think we make the magic happen. We bring in the big checks and everything. We think, man, I'm the best person. Who's going to be better than me? But the fact is look, we're all really good at certain narrow bands of things, but you can't try to do everything. You know, and find the thing that you're good at, whether it's acquiring the deals, whether it's dealing with the realtors and making those decisions on the dispo side. but specialize it and then just turn it into a conveyor belt and just run it up and then redline it that way at scale and with leverage.
That's it.
Killer, man. Well, so I heard some challenges with the flat fee was one of the challenges. What can you think of any other challenges that you guys faced and overcame on this journey?
I think it was probably just like not setting the correct expectations with the realtor and like not following the process that you kind of have of looking for the guy, not just look for any guy. Like it was like one of our very first Novation deals that we did by ourselves. And we ended up hiring some guy that we just kind of got a referral from. I think Justin found him somewhere, and he wasn't like he
was good. Was just like, he just wasn't the guy. It was like in a small town in Ohio. He lived in the major part and wasn't the most.
He was cool,
super dope guy. Just wasn't the guy. Now we've got 3 or 4 realtors that I've met this past week that are on top of shit. Let me be there. How can I help? Yes.
The area specialist.
Yes. And what the fuck are we like? Why would I not want to work with you on this versus all the other guys?
The difference between a really good realtor and an elite realtor is this huge gap. It's like the difference between the best guy playing basketball at the park and then a top NBA all-star. Once you see them side by side, they both look good when you see them on their own. But when you can see the contrast, you're like, there's nothing.
That's a really good way to put it.
Close. It's such a crucial position. You need excellence. You need someone that you're like, dude, I could never do what they're doing, nor do I want to.
Yep, exactly.
Dude, that's killer. Well, that's a great nugget too. That's awesome, man. Where do you guys see things going moving forward? What are some next moves? You don't have to give me everything, but
yeah, dude, we just set goals for next year. Between Ohio and Arizona are 2 kind of main markets. We want to do $3 million out there in assignments there next year, assignments and novations. Hiring the realtors this week, dude. I mean,
I honestly think we're gonna be.
It might be like, yeah. We plan like going to a new market now is so easy. It's so simple, and it's like I know I'm the guy that gets it done. Like, not only am I the best offer, like I'm also the guy that can get it done because I have all of the resources. Not because like I'm gonna do everything, but because I have all the resources in place to get the shit done. That's what matters. So
that confidence, you can tell that's a genuine confidence, and the sellers pick up on that too. I love that. Not to cut you off, 100%. But I love how you put that where you're like, look, I know the sellers are better off working with me than any other option.
100%. 100%. Like, and it's different when you believe it. Like, it comes off as confidence, but like that's a belief, like, is what it is. And it's just through experiencing it over and over. And like, we've done it so much with it in a very short amount of time. I think like I've had to believe it. Like, there is no question about it. Once we went back to, and it all goes back to the process. Like, you have it all laid out A to Z in the script. And that's how we did so much in a short amount of time. And every hiccup or problem or challenge that we experienced, what do? Went right back to the playbook and solved it. Like, that's all it is. That's the whole game of real estate.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And what would you say what kind of houses are you monetizing? Because people normally think with novations, these are the ones that are fully remodeled, or they think that you're doing major construction to them. Tell me a little bit about some of the different houses, like
not even
price
the houses.
point.
It's not even the houses. It's the sellers, reasonable sellers, people that understand, people that have a need. Like, that's where the house, I know I don't even need to see it. If I have a reasonable seller that has a problem that we can solve, I know we can get it done. Like, that's the cool part with Novations that we learned. Like, the very first deal we did with you, that shit was like barely standing up. I don't even know.
Yeah, I remember
sold
that.
it for like $5,000. And I was like, what the fuck are we doing? And we got a check from it. Like
$1,900.
That was like so eye-opening for us. Like,
yeah, that was wild, right? It's like, if we can sell this porta potty, we can sell anything. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Yeah, because normally people are thinking of Novations as like, oh, well, these are all the ones that are fixed up and you can just offer them retail money on it. Like, you still have to negotiate. You still have to position it, right? It isn't a magic bullet, but you can hit way more targets. Like now, what percentage of your deals would you say are going on market, and what percentage do you think you're selling off market?
I would say like more than often, like we're just putting it on the market because we know that we have a better opportunity.
Probably 80% plus are going on market.
Yeah. Like obviously like if I know the house is like super shitty and it's just like, it would be a really good opportunity to just get this one off quick and
It's a wholesale
it.
deal?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you can identify which one's a wholesale deal and which one's a novation, but like, dude, even the wholesale deals, you can just switch to novations and go and make more money. Like that's the thing. It just really depends on like what your business model is. Like honestly, I consider us just more of like a novation company. Like we're a problem solving company, and that's what like novations are. Like if you have a problem, I can solve it. And I love the point that you made. I think it was on like one of your lives or something, but you were talking about that. Like, oh, people think that you can just go and offer like retail values and shit. No, dude, like the money is made in the fucking negotiating. Like that's how you can see whether you're like an actual like expert pro fucking investor versus the intermediate guys that are like, they'll go and make like 5 to 10 grand. Like, because we've had deals that we ended up making like 30, 40 grand. And that like being able to do that and like also make it a super quick process, like that was the big like aha moment that I kind of needed to see of like, okay, we do have the opportunity of being the highest offer, but it's also like, if you can show your value, bro, the seller's not like, the numbers aren't really going to matter all that much. They
The
just
numbers
want to
become less important.
Yeah, they want to
When
make
they
sure
feel
that
understood and they feel
Yeah,
confident that you can truly solve their problem, and they feel confident that you do what you say you're going to do, then
Bro,
all of a sudden the price isn't the number one thing, because the highest offer from someone that doesn't do what they say,
bro, we
there's no
scorched
value
the fuck
there.
out of
There's
the
nothing
earth.
behind it.
And the other piece is like, while Dom's talking to these guys, like the expectations he's setting, like that's the other piece that we've learned is we front load the fuck out of our expectations. Like before the contract is signed, during the contract being signed, and after, like it's all expectations. And that right there eliminates so much guesswork, headache, questions. Like most 99% of the headaches or issues that come up are strictly expectations. Like expectations weren't set correctly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like all of the objections that like a lot of people end up thinking you get with like novations of like, oh, like why is my house on the market? Like, bro, that's not even a fucking real objection that comes up. Like, to be completely honest with you,
we've literally had it like one time,
like,
and it was just, they were just curious. Like
that's it. Literally, that's it.
It's so true. Being transparent with them, setting the proper expectations, knowing when to disclose it, how to disclose it. That's part of the sales and, converting process, right? But if you can set right expectations, you don't use a flat fee broker, and then you have the seller sign the buyer's offer, that will eliminate 99% of the problems people have with novations.
so simple.
Bro, our sellers are like, yep, just send it on over.
Yeah,
we'll sign it.
we just got it yesterday. FHA offered. Like,
it's so nice.
Closes before the end of the year. They had no issue. They were ecstatic to be their closing date was moving up. And like, that's the other thing is, how are you delivering the experience? Like when I'm calling to have them sign the offer, like I don't just blindly send the purchase contract and like hope for the best. Like I give them a call. It's exciting. Hey guys, good news. I've got updates. This is going to be your last Christmas in the house. We're getting to the finish line on the 27th. Sending over the docs that I need signed on mine. I'm going to get these to title and we're going to get rolling. Oh my gosh. That. Yes. I love it. Like, yes. Let me get them signed right away.
When you do enough deals, every single process has a dance to it where you do it in the optimal way. Just like at Disneyland, they have a way that they do everything. There's a Disney way for everything. And it's the same with this. And once you learn there's an optimized way, why would you want to do it any different? You know what I mean? Why would you want to lessen your chances of success?
Dude, exactly.
Like, I think the super cool part, like, I'm all about like the touchy-feely type of shit, like emotions. When that shit gets involved in, like, when you see the impact that you've made in like this seller's life, like, because I know that's something that you talk about a lot. Like, it's not something to just play with of like, oh, we're going and locking people up and shit. It's like, bro, we had a call with our seller and we ended up making like 32 G's on this. Walked her away with 40 G's that she was knowing, like, she was ready to go. She didn't want to.
She didn't even know she was going to get that much.
Yeah, like literally didn't think she was going to get that much. Didn't want to have to make any repairs. Didn't want to have to handle the sale. Her dad was sick and she had to move in with him. Husband left her with a whole bunch of debt. Bro, we took care of everything, had the house sold in a week. And this is like when we were still with the flat fee. But like, had the house sold in a week, bro, she was in tears on the phone with me after we closed and she got her money. Like, she couldn't believe. She was like, thank you guys so much for everything. Like, you made this an amazing process. And we've gotten referrals. Like,
dude, yeah.
That's the dope part.
Like, this shit wasn't happening when we were doing wholesale deals, like regular wholesale deals.
Fuck, it wasn't happening when I was being an agent, bro. Like, I barely got referrals, bro.
It's so true, man. And these sellers, a lot of them are in a very vulnerable position and they have no choice but to put their trust into somebody. And that's what gives you the courage too to go so hard on the close, is because you know, hey, look, if they don't see the value in what we're providing, there's a good chance they're going to be in the hands of a predator that doesn't care about their experience, that's going to price drop them no matter what, whack them over the head, rake them over the coals, lie to them, have one expectation set, and then another thing happens. And that's what really makes people upset, is when they think something's going to happen and then it doesn't happen. That's when people really kind of lose it. You know what I mean? That's when you get into scammer territory where you say, hey, look, I'm going to buy your house. And then you're off there trying to market on the MLS and trying to make up crazy stories on why these people have to keep coming through. Like, it's a joke. You can't look at that like a serious business. You know what I mean?
It's like, think about it. They're like, how do you overcome the objection when they say, why is my house listed on the market? Well, did you tell them the house was going to be listed on the market? Like, no shit, they're asking why their house is listed on the market. Like, that's what a concept that is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, turns out people care about that, apparently. You know, if their house is on the MLS, they don't know about it.
Found out? What? No.
It's wild, man. Well, dude, I love seeing you guys flourish. Justin's such a cool dude too, tattooed realtor. And I love like the culture. I see you guys on there always grinding, always training, but you guys have fun together. You don't take yourself that, overly seriously like a lot of people do in real estate where everything's buttoned up and perfect. You guys are just yourselves. You know what I mean? I love that. Your whole squad is like that, where you guys just all click, you have fun, but you still operate as professionals on a high level. But you don't need to wear a suit and tie to do a great job. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's about your character, your work ethic, and your knowledge and expertise and your resourcefulness. And you guys are nailing it, dude. I love it. I mean, you went from 1 to 3 to 10 to 15. As you guys duplicate yourselves, I mean, dude, you're going to be a menace. You're going to build an empire. You know what I mean? Even doubling down what you're doing now, going to 20 to 30. That's massive, dude. That's massive impact. So
we're excited to have you alongside with us, bro.
Hell yeah, brother. No, it's my pleasure. And I appreciate all the kind words and everything. And I'm glad, I could have had some positive influence on what you guys are doing. And I mean, you get all the credit because at the end of the day, you did all the hard work. And there's a lot of people I try to help that don't have the same results that you did. So you guys definitely get all the credit for that. And appreciate you sharing this story. You know what I mean? So hell yeah, man.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, I think it just all goes back down to like you can you can lead the horse to the water, but you can't force him to drink. And like, you've shown the way, like the most efficient way to be able to do it. And it's the correct way. It's the ethical way of doing it. Like, if you don't follow that, then that's like your fault. Or if you're just not performing, like it's one of the two. And like, bro, make it easy on yourself. Like even have those hard conversations and partner with Rich. Like that's what we did. Was we ended up partnering on a couple of deals with them, and it was so dope because literally that very first deal would have never gotten sold unless that realtor would have sold it. Like he was
in Huntington, West Virginia.
Yeah,
Some
like,
shit. Yeah,
bro, there was fucking 25 house sales in a year. Like,
Dude,
it was just nuts.
but we found the guy that we found
we
that
found
sold
the
that
guy,
crap
bro.
box. He was the crap box kingpin. He was
Yep.
that
Yeah,
guy.
that's
He was
right.
from
Like
the
70
town.
some years old, bro. Like,
Woo.
oh,
Man, that was killer, dude. Well,
I
dude,
love it.
thank you guys. Appreciate you. And hey, if people want to work with you, how can they get in touch with you guys and see more content and learn more about what you got going?
So our IG handle and our YouTube is High Level Homebuyers. Real Deal Greg.
_ Dom Wendell. And then if you want to send us, like, fill out an application to see, like, what your deal is or whatever the case may be, buyrightHomebuyers.com. And then there will be a little partners.
BuyRightHomebuyers.com. Killer.
Yeah.
And are you guys, looking for people to possibly add to the team at some point as well? They can hit you up for that?
At some point, like we're huge on like education. Like we love looking at deals and like helping people move deals. We don't have the capacity right now for like training per se or like bringing people in house. So we're referring them over to you. I think our Mike Skokic, he just joined, I think, with you. And we, yeah, dude, like you have like the process so dialed in. We're still just executing. We're just in execution phase right now. Like deals, education, value, and having fun, bro. Having fun doing shit like this.
Hell yeah, man. I love it. My guys, we're definitely going to have to get together again soon too.
For sure.
So appreciate
Yeah, bro. We'll
y'all,
see you
man.
before the end of the year.
Yes. Yeah, I'll hit you up and we'll link up again.
Sounds good, bro. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm going to stop the recording here.